Page 37, the Blue Danube. Very famous waltz. This is a nice little arrangement of it. I'll go through the system for learning a piece of music. Let's see what we get. I'll look it over and see it's about a page long. The clef signs are treble and bass clef. There's no sharps or flats in the key signature. We're in the key of C major, so make sure you're doing the scale for C major and go ahead and do the scale for A minor. 1 octave up and down is fine. 3/4 time, well, it's a waltz, so we expect it to be 3/4 time. Let's take it one hand at a time because we are moving around a bit. Starting here, it's a 1, 2, 3, 1, and then you have to come up here. Now, if you can, it makes it a little easier because you have 2 G's there at the beginning. You can play the second G with the thumb. This way you're a little closer to where you want to go. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1. Then you're just reach up. Then come back down. And here, rather than 4, 2, I'm going to do a 1, 2. So I can change, they're both repeated. Or here, this way I'm closer to where I want to be. Reach down and be. I'm going to do that every time because it gets me closer to where I want to be. Now in the third line down, start with the third measure. You're here and then come down. Here you're pretty much stuck with this because I want to connect all these notes. The slur only goes over 3 notes. Really, you connect them all. Then you have to come up. Same thing in the next line, connect them. And then 3, 2, the last line. 1, 2, 3, 1. I'm going to come up 2 here on the F sharp. This way I'm closer to where I want to be. 2, 3, 1. The 4th finger on the C. And then here. Again, it's 2 E's. Hold the dotted half note down. And then here, I'm doing that, I don't like it, but I have to. Here. Now in the last 3 measures, here, you can, if you want, use second finger or third finger on the D. This way you're closer to the A. Because I'd like to connect that. If I could. Here. Left hand, well the left hand has these chords. You look at all the notes in the second measure there, it's here and here. It's a C chord. It's every other note, the bottom note's C, it's a C chord. A little bit later you get the G7 chord here. And then second line, third measure, it's the same chord, but we're using the G. And you can, if you want, for the F, G, there, this is the second line, third measure. Here, you can use thumb on both. A lot of times in music, we'll use thumb to play 2 notes because it's handy. It just works. Because this is stretched to do here. So just use thumb on both. When you have to. Go down to the last line. Well, let's start with the last measure of the 4th line. You're here, scrunch up, little finger, that is a D and an F, and then it'll come down to C and an E, and then you have an F, C, D, and then back to what we've already had, this chord, it was at the beginning of the line, and then here. So we try and put the hands together then and see what we end up with. And I'm going to hesitate. I don't care. I just want to know how the fingers are working together. It's here. Here. These are together. So I'm going to go through the whole thing carefully and slowly and put the hands together. Then I go back over it a few hundred times or whatever and get rid of the hesitations. No hesitations. Then I add the articulation. The staccatos are short and I'm hinging at the wrist. you any articulation for the left hand. I usually do an chop chop, chop chop. So I connect the first two. And you can't connect the second two, they're repeated. You can play them staccato if you want. So again, at the beginning, it's takes a little bit of practice because you're doing different things in the hands. You're staccato in one and not in the other. Again, you practice this with the scales. Practice playing the scale, one hand staccato and the other hand connected at the same time. And then switch them. This gives you that feeling of doing different things in the hands at the same time. And once I have an idea of the articulation, now I add the dynamics. The dynamics apply to the melody. It's the right hand here, soft. Here. This, that's not melody. This needs to be very soft. This is melody. The left hand is very soft, so it's you're staying there until the third line in the middle of it. You get the hairpin that go up to moderately loud. Moderately loud here. The left hand is in the background. And the next line, come back down and do it again. Don't go up more from where you're at. Come back down to soft in the fourth line. Soft and go back up to moderately loud. Now you're loud in the right hand. In the right hand, keep the left hand out of the way. Very heavy in the right hand, very heavy there, and I'm light in the left hand. Yeah, that takes a little practice of playing heavy in one hand and light in the other. Well, again, you can do that with the scales. So as you're playing the scales anyway, practice playing one hand heavy and one hand light, and then take turns as to which is which. As far as the speed goes, it's not a slow waltz. It's not a fast waltz. It's in the middle, somewhere in the middle. Now remember the interpretation, the accents. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Put a little emphasis, just feel that. Don't force it, just feel it. They've added some pedal in here. You see the pedal markings at the beginning, and then a little later in the line underneath the staff there's an SIM. Remember, that is the abbreviation for simile. Simile means keep doing whatever you've been doing. And it depends on where it is in the music, because it could apply to most anything. Here, when it's down underneath that, where the pedal marking would be, it's referring to the pedal. So it's telling you to keep pedaling it the same way you were pedaling it there. In other words, you're pedaling these. They want you to pedal those throughout. Well, you have to experiment. Is that really the effect you want? The staccatos, you lose the staccatos, but you still do them. You feel the staccatos, whether you can hear them or not. So at the beginning, on the second measure, I'm going to push the notes down first and then the pedal. I'm going to change the pedal after I play the notes in the next measure. And I'm going to lift the pedal up on second beat with the left hand. So I go, this is by itself. So again, if that's the effect you want, go for it. It's fine. Experiment a little bit and see what you think. One type of pedaling we use in waltzes sometimes is we'll just pedal the first beat of a measure. That reinforces the natural accents. So you just pedal the first beat just for that, and you do it on all of them, even the first measure. It's a different effect. You have to experiment. What do you like? Now there's no repeats on here, so you play it through, but if you needed to make it last longer, you'd pretend there's a repeat sign and you'd repeat it. Well, when you repeat it, it's nice to change things. So maybe you change the interpretation, when you don't play it twice the same way, if you can help it to change something. The pedaling is one of the things you can change. There's no really right and wrong as long as you're listening carefully. Just don't blur it all together. I've heard people play music like that on piano. Ugh. Please don't. Listen very carefully and experiment with the pedal for the effect you want. The starting point would be the pedaling they give you, but you're not locked into that. That's only a suggestion. What do you want to do with it? For this lesson, I'm going to go ahead and pedal it like they're showing, but if I were to play it, I think I would probably just pedal like the first beat of a measure or something, because I like to hear the staccatos. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do louds and softs, just notes and rhythms. I'm going to pedal it like they're showing. I'll give us 3 counts. 1, ready, go.